I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline, the top stories. 2 top armed forces officers expected to be charged next week as MECC wraps up corruption probe. And government's reform development agenda already bringing tangible benefits to the people, says Second Finance Minister. Good morning. At least 2 high-ranking Malaysian Armed Forces MAF officers are expected to face charges next week. This comes as the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is set to conclude its investigations into 2 cases involving alleged bribery, abuse of power, and the misappropriation of funds within the armed forces. At a special press conference on Thursday, the MACC displayed cash, luxury watches, gold bars, and jewelry seized in connection with the corruption cases. The graft-buster took only 2 weeks to trace the money and luxury items, including a Rolex watch valued at 200,000 ringgit. Its Chief Commissioner, Tan Sri Azambaki, said the corruption case involving army procurement tenders uncovered by the Commission is considered large-scale and very serious. To date, the investigation has led to the detention of 23 individuals, while statements have been recorded from 30 witnesses. Multiple raids under oversight have also resulted in the seizure of assets, including 26 luxury watches valued at 2.3 million ringgit, 2 diamond rings worth 20,000 ringgit, as well as gold in the form of bullion, medallions, and dinar coins worth over 2.6 million ringgit. Authorities also seized 4.4 million ringgit in cash, along with foreign currency worth 1.4 million ringgit and a luxury vehicle worth 360,000 ringgit. The total estimated value of the seized assets is 11.4 million ringgit. The seizure was carried out in the capital and in Besut, Terengganu. The MACC also froze 75 company accounts with a total value of 32.5 million ringgit.
Pegawai saya perlu melakukan lebih dalam lagi. They need to go beyond that to prove siapa-siapa yang telah memberi wang berkenaan. Dalam kes ini melibatkan isu procurement, di mana kita perlu melihat kepada isu procurement yang mana satu, siapa pemberinya dan sebagainya.
On January 7th, former Army Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Hafizuddin Jantan, along with his 2 wives, was remanded by the MACC for 7 days. Several other senior armed forces officers were also questioned as part of the ongoing corruption investigation. In the same press conference, Azam also shared updates on the investigation into Op Star. Now, the case involves allegations of soliciting and receiving bribes from companies linked to procurement dealings for the Armed Forces Welfare Fund, TKAT, and the Defense Ministry, as well as the suspected abuse of the TKAT funds for personal interests. According to him, 2 high-ranking officers, 4 senior officers, and 9 civilians have been detained to assist in the investigation. According to Azam, the case has been under investigation since October 7th last year and was not previously made public due to its sensitive nature and the positions of the individuals involved. The MACC also seized 1.3 million ringgit in cash, foreign currency worth 721,000 ringgit, and 66 gold bars weighing 2.49 kilograms, estimated at 1.7 million ringgit, as well as 5 vehicles. He added that 8 company accounts and 4 personal company accounts were also frozen as part of the investigation. The total value of the seized assets is estimated at 4.7 million ringgit.
Jadi siasatan ada sedikit lagi yang perlu kita teruskan untuk menyingkapkan kesiasatan. Sebab tu saya kata hampir selesai. InsyaAllah akan selesai pada minggu hadapan dan kes kesiasatan ini perlu dikemukakan paling lewat kepada Timbalan Penerus Raya ialah pada hari Jumaat pada minggu hadapan.
Datuk Dr. Muhammad Akmal Saleh has announced that he will step down as a Malacca State Executive Councillor effective next week. However, the Merlimau Assemblyman confirmed that he will remain as Umno Youth Chief, reversing his earlier intention to resign from the party post. Akmal made the announcement while addressing the Umno Youth General Assembly in the federal capital. He linked his decision to resign as Malacca Exco member to dissatisfaction with the DAP, saying it was a move to reflect grassroots concerns.
Untuk menunjukkan bahawa saya membawa suara akar umbi yang keresahan, dengan ini saya meletakkan jawatan saya sebagai Exco Kerajaan Negeri Melaka berkuat kuasa pada minggu hadapan.
Akmal has served as Malacca Rural Development, Agriculture and Food Security Committee Chairman since April 2023. Prior to the announcement, Akmal said he had held discussions with UMNO President Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Malacca Chief Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Rauf Yusof.
Saya sebagai Ketua Negeri, saya akan menunggu surat secara rasmi untuk saya pertimbangkan. Sama ada saya menerima ataupun tidak menerima itu tertakluk kepada perbincangan saya nanti.
Meanwhile, when asked whether Akmal's decision would put pressure on UMNO and the Malacca government, the party's president gave this response.
Saya tidak fikir itu merupakan satu tekanan kerana Datuk Seri Rauf tahu apa yang beliau akan lakukan selepas ini.
Speaking at the sidelines of the UMNO General Assembly, Zahid, who is also the Deputy Prime Minister, said he respects Akmal's decision to resign as Malacca Exco member as it is his personal right, adding that it provides an opportunity for him to engage at the grassroots level and mobilize the youth machinery. In a separate development, former UMNO Youth Chief Khairi Jamaluddin said he would take one step at a time regarding a possible return to the party 3 years after being sacked. Khairi, who attended the UMNO General Assembly on Thursday, said he was not rushing any decision on his political future. The former Rumbau Member of Parliament said he was invited by the UMNO Youth Chief to attend the Assembly and expressed his appreciation for the gesture.
Yeah, one step at a time, insyaAllah. Hari ini saya kembali sebagai pemerhati dan insyaAllah selepas ini kita akan buat apa yang perlulah.
Khairi's remarks were put to the UMNO president, who responded with an open stance.
Itu terserah kepada permohonan yang akan kita terima.
Now, UMNO Vice President Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani has welcomed the call for the women's wing to be given greater leadership opportunities. He said that the position and role of women in UMNO have always been recognized as a key pillar of the party's struggle.
Kita dengar tadi Ketua Wanita UMNO Malaysia sebut bahawa dia nak more penglibatan wanita dalam pilihan raya. 30%. Kita welcome. So apa yang wanita perlu lahirkan ialah lahirkan ramai pemimpin-pemimpin wanita yang mempunyai latar belakang yang hebat.
Johari told this to reporters after attending the Wanita UMNO General Assembly on Thursday. He also said that the women's movement has been one of the most important party wings since UMNO's founding and continues to be so today. The government must intensify efforts to ensure that reforms under the Madani framework are genuinely rooted in justice, integrity and moral principles. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim criticized policies that appear rhetorical but are hypocritical in practice, falling short of the ideals of justice, dignity and freedom they claim to uphold. Speaking at the Madani lecture held at Sri Perdana on Thursday night, Anwar emphasized that the reform agenda under the Madani framework prioritizes good governance and the eradication of systemic corruption inherited from the past. Recent enforcement actions, including unprecedented steps to investigate senior officers of the Malaysian Armed Forces, reflect the government's courage, conviction and determination to uphold accountability.
For this illuminated lecture. It's interesting. He brings us
Earlier, Anwar highlighted that the results of a strategic collaboration between local and international industries has successfully produced the second national motorcycle, the Afaz Kencana Sport. According to the Prime Minister, the partnership driven by the Automotive Manufacturing 2 or AM2 policy is expected to create more job opportunities. Anwar received the Afaz Kencana Sport at the Prime Minister's office on Thursday. He said the collaboration between local and international companies reflects confidence in the abilities of local talent, as well as the government's ongoing efforts to build a stronger, more competitive and sustainable economy. He added that the government will continue striving to advance Malaysia in developing a more resilient and competitive motorcycle industry. The industry must also be prepared for a future anchored in local capabilities, supported by global partnerships and guided by national aspirations. In other news, Malaysia is currently studying the regulatory mechanisms that will be put in place to enforce a minimum age of 16 for social media use as part of efforts to strengthen online safety for children. Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadzil said among the options being considered is user identity verification, which could involve MyCut, passports, or the My Digital ID system. Several social media platforms are actively engaging with the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, or MCMC, in a regulatory sandbox with discussions focused on platform capabilities as well as technical and operational challenges. He stressed that the proposed age-based restriction is a necessary step towards protecting children from harmful online content and activities.
Kerana kita dapati terdapat banyak platform yang mengandungi bahan pornografi, bahan jenayah seksual terhadap kanak-kanak, scam dan mungkin boleh membentuk minda yang tidak baik untuk masa depan anak-anak.
He was speaking to reporters after attending the distribution of early school assistance for the Lembah Pantai Parliamentary constituency at Sekolah Kebangsaan Bukit Bandaraya. The review on the need to reinstate Ujian Pencapaian Sekolah Rendah UPSR Pentaksiran Tingkatan 3 or PT3 shows the government is listening to the people. Education Minister Fadlina Sidek said feedback from various stakeholders, including parents and the education community, has prompted the government to re-examine the matter. According to Fadlina, the review will commence once the appointment process for members of the National Education Advisory Council, MPPK, is completed.
MPPK ini dalam proses untuk pelantikan. Dari segi persiapan kita untuk sebagaimana arahan saya untuk mereka itu, kita sudah bersedia, cuma menunggu mereka masuk, dilantik dan kemudian kita akan selesaikan dalam tahun ini juga, sesegera mungkin.
Speaking to reporters at an event in Putrajaya on Thursday, Fadlina added that the MPPK will comprise individuals from diverse backgrounds, including education experts. She also said the establishment of the council aligns with the need to gather comprehensive views before implementing any major changes to the national education policy. 14 ministries were identified as having failed to meet targets for the implementation of physical development projects last year. Chief Secretary to the government, Tan Sri Shamsul Azri Abu Bakar, said the national average for development expenditure on physical projects reached only 87.91%. Shamsul Azri explained that the implementation of basic infrastructure projects, including the construction and upgrading of roads, schools, clinics and hospitals, was prioritized as these projects deliver direct benefits to the people. He said that while the projects had been implemented, progress was slow. Following this, all Secretaries General of the ministries concerned have been instructed to provide explanations.
Itu yang saya tegaskan tadi, 14 KSU ni saya akan panggil dan dia akan beri kesan kepada dia punya demerit punya performance dia. Sebab duit ni kita bagi, tapi bukan tak pakai bila lambat, jadi rugilah. Sepatutnya duit tu kita boleh manfaatkan untuk benda lain. Kan?
He noted that more than 9,500 development projects were implemented last year, involving allocations totaling over 83 billion ringgit. As of December 22nd, expenditure stood at 81.67 billion, placing the national average for overall development project spending at more than 98%. On another matter, Shamsul Azri said ministries and government agencies have been urged to improve their public communication strategies, as an estimated 46% of the people remain unaware of government initiatives over the past 3 years of the unity government's administration. 2026 marks the execution phase of reforms under Economy Madani, with policies now moving from planning to delivery across the economy. Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said Malaysia's development strategy is focused on creating long-term value beyond physical infrastructure. Speaking in his keynote address at the 2026 CEO Series Conference on Thursday, Amir Hamzah said the government's reform and development agenda is already in motion, with its effects being felt by households, businesses, and the broader economy. The momentum is reinforced by the 13th Malaysia Plan, which sets the direction for a more resilient, high-value, and inclusive future. He highlighted the government's role as an enabler, providing fiscal stability and strategic initiatives such as the Government-Linked Enterprises Activation and Reform Program, or Gear Up. Through Gear Up, the government aims to mobilize 120 billion ringgit in domestic investment over the next 5 years, ensuring national capital serves national interests and anchors high-growth, high-value industries.
We want investment to be anchored here, in our own soil, creating value that remains a lasting benefit to the Malaysian people. We are not seeking capital that merely visits. We seek capital that builds, stays, and endures.
Amir Hamzah also flagged opportunities in tourism, noting Visit Malaysia Year 2026 aims to attract 47 million visitors and generate 329 billion ringgit in revenue, creating jobs and boosting small and medium enterprises. As Malaysia implements its reform and development agenda from 2026, economists say the focus is on long-term structural change. Economist Paul Anthony Maria Das said while rising cost remains a concern, there is growing recognition that reforms need to be expedited.
If people see savings from reforms being invested into healthcare, education and social protection, of course public confidence will improve. Okay, and so reforms are necessary, but how they are implemented will determine the public acceptance.
He added that while the move from blanket subsidies to targeted assistance is tough, it is necessary. He noted that targeting allows limited resources to protect vulnerable households while keeping public finances sustainable. Moving on, Malaysia is expected to see a significant surge in spending in the first quarter of 2026, driven by a phenomenon analysts are calling a cash tsunami. The phenomenon occurs when 3 major cash inflows enter the economy simultaneously. These include the disbursement of Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah, STR Phase 1, the Sumbangan Asas Rahmah, SARA Credit, on February 9th, and salary increases for civil servants under Phase 2 of the Public Service Remuneration System. According to BIMB Securities, the combined impact of these cash inflows, together with spending for Chinese New Year and the early Ramadan period, is expected to push retail sector revenue to its highest level. The 15 billion ringgit allocation for STR and SARA in 2026 is also expected to boost disposable income among low and middle income groups. The situation places the consumer sector in a strong position at the start of 2026, supported by real purchasing power and rising domestic demand. 3 killed in Banting factory fire. More news from the local front after this breather.
MHI sepanjang minggu. Inisiatif bantuan sara diteruskan. Apakah impaknya kepada masyarakat? Difteria penyakit jarang didengari namun boleh bawa mudarat kepada kesihatan. Rasuah musuh negara, perangi rasuah dan tingkatkan integriti. Parkir kenderaan merata-rata sehingga halang laluan. Di manakah moral anda? Isu tiket scalping atau ulat tiket, kita cari solusi untuk masalah ini. Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi. Hanya di TV3 dan tonton. Dan kongsi macam-macam, lepas tu menyesal. Oversharing kadang-kadang boleh membawa mudarat. Pais ikan patin opor daging semua saya suka. Menu Negeri Pahang hari Selasa. Wanita hari ini bukan kurang usaha, cuma terlalu banyak beban. Wanita dan tekanan ekonomi kita bincangkan hari Rabu. Tergantung, terdiam, terluka. Gantung tak bertali, menunggu tanpa kepastian. Rumah tangga bukan medan berkuasa. Isteri bukan hamba dan suami bukan tuan. Semuanya di Wanita hari ini TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
الو طوارئ الهلال الاحمر رام الله الضفه الغربيه عمر معك تفضل. انت شو اسم العيله؟ شو اسمك الكامل؟
هلا انت ومين كنتوا مع بعض؟
كنت اهلي.
Tanyalah Ustaz minggu ini. Isnin 5 wasiat Muslim. Selasa fiqh muamalat riba. Rabu Khaybar ya Yahud. Khamis Talhah bin Ubaidillah. Jumaat Mi'raj antara logik dan iman. Sabtu Rahlah ketuhanan. Ahad sebaik-baik ibadah. Tanyalah Ustaz biar tahu jangan keliru di TV3 dan TV9. Stream juga melalui tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. Traditionally celebrated as a harvest festival by the Tamil community, Pongal is more than just an annual celebration. It serves as an important platform to nurture understanding of customs and traditions, particularly among the younger generation. Pongal also marks a special moment that brings families together as they prepare for and celebrate the festival collectively. Such participation is seen as strengthening family bonds while educating younger generation on the importance of preserving their cultural heritage.
Kita kena pastikan sentiasa mereka datang and then kita kata it's a must. Kemestian sebab ia setahun sekali, so dia kena datang, dia kena ikut cara kita buat dan kita kena mengajar mereka dari kecil.
For students studying at public higher education institutions, celebrations at temples have become a preferred option, as many are unable to return to their hometowns for the festival.
Kat hostel tu kan tak ada, tak boleh buat pongal kan. So dekat Koil ni boleh buat pongal dan boleh makan juga. So itu pun salah satu reason lah kita datang Koil.
Malam ni mesti ada ramai orang akan datang. Saya rasa hari malam ini mungkin ada lebih kurang 2,000, 1,000 macam tu akan muncul pada malam ini. Maksudnya hari ini hari kerja punya pasal, mereka tidak dapat datang ke sini dengan sepenuhnya.
Celebrated over 4 days, starting January 14th, Pongal symbolizes gratitude for the harvest, nature, and the hard work of farmers. More than 2,700 summonses were issued in Selangor last year to heavy vehicle drivers who ignored restrictions on heavy vehicles during peak hours across selected highways. The Selangor Road Transport Department said the most common excuse given by drivers when stopped is that they were rushing to complete a trip, despite repeated warnings and clear notices on restricted travel times. At present, heavy vehicles are prohibited from using selected highways and routes between 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and again from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., periods when traffic volume is at its highest as commuters travel to and from work.
Walaupun kita telah ada amaran ataupun pemakluman awal tentang waktu-waktu tertentu tidak boleh masuk di jalan-jalan tertentu, tapi mereka ada yang masih berdegil Dan alasan mereka bagi adalah untuk mengejar trip lah.
According to the department, the Elite Highway reported the highest number of violations with more than 1,300 summonses issued. This was followed by the Federal Highway with 579 cases, Jalan Sungai Buaya with 420, and Jalan Templar with 366 summonses. In a special enforcement operation conducted along the Elite Highway earlier on Thursday, 57 lorry drivers were issued summonses for failing to comply with the peak hour restrictions. A detailed search was carried out at the site of a deadly fire involving a number of factories in Banting, Selangor earlier on Thursday, as authorities worked to ensure no other victims remained trapped. The site had been witness to a massive blaze the night before, resulting in 3 deaths. The 3 victims were workers at a used oil processing warehouse who are believed to have been trapped inside the warehouse. Their bodies were discovered by firefighters during a thorough inspection of the site early on Thursday morning. They have yet to be identified.
Okey, untuk pencarian, kita nak buat pencarian yang teliti untuk mengelakkan ada lagi mangsa yang terperangkap yang kita tak ketahui. Kita telah memanggil K9 dengan unit dengan disiplin body recovery untuk kita sweep satu warehouse dan satu kilang yang terbakar ni untuk memastikan tiada lagi mangsa yang terperangkap yang kita tak tahu.
The fire, which broke out at around 10 p.m. on Wednesday, also completely destroyed a neighboring plastic packaging factory. 2 other nearby premises also sustained damage as the flames spread rapidly. The intense blaze was brought under control at about 1 a.m. The cause of the fire and the extent of losses are still under investigation. Thailand suffers another deadly construction accident. The details when Nightline returns.
2025 dah habis. Jom kita tengok 2026.
Hubungan kita bukan betul pun. So apa? Main-main je. Awak bukan sayang saya pun kan?
Kau tak payah nak ambil tahu pasal hidup orang boleh.
Yang kau nak panas ni asal.
Dia pandai tau. Dia pandai malu.
Kalau nak nasihat, nasihat dengan hati.
Kenalkan, Nur. Orang penting dalam hidup Pak.
Sampai bila abang nak tidur bawah ni? Kalau abang takut, Aira boleh tidur dekat tengah.
Abang risau belakang saya yang sakit.
Kau dah cakap sangat pasal mak aku kan? Kau cakap depan biji mata aku lah.
Saya layan awak macam sampah. Tapi awak layan saya macam princess.
Walau sampai detik yang saya ada separuh nafas, saya tetap akan cintakan awak.
Mak, tak perasan ke? Ha? Muka dia tu macam tak suka kita datang.
Malam kau pergi mana? Aku call kau tak angkat. Message pun kau tak baca.
Tapi, walaupun kerja macam tu, diorang lolek tau.
Kalau bos nak, saya boleh tolong carikan kawan bos tu.
Sorry Cik Farah, saya nak pergi kat kereta ambil barang je.
Every time I see. Kau tak lambat muka dia jadi apa pun tak dapat.
Aku tak faham lah. Kenapa kau suruh aku tipu Siti tu? Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat tahun baru.
Selamat tahun baru. Selamat tahun baru 2026 kepada semua penonton TV3.
Dan juga Tantan. Di tengah ketakutan, suara kecil ini meminta simpati.
Suara terakhir yang tidak akan pernah padam. Ini adalah kekejaman yang menghapuskan suara kecilnya.
Ini adalah pertanyaan kepada dunia. Di manakah hati dan nurani?
انت شو اسم العيله؟ شو اسمك الكامل؟
Onto the foreign front now. 2 people were killed and 2 injured after a construction crane collapsed onto a highway in Thailand, a day after a crane accident in another part of the country left 32 people dead. Now, authorities reported that Thursday's accident occurred in Samut Sakhon province, where a crane being used to build an elevated highway collapsed onto the road below, crushing 2 cars. Thailand's transport minister said the construction firm, Italian Thai Development, whose crane had fallen onto a train in northeastern Nakhon Ratchasima province the day before, was also involved in the latest incident. The Rama 2 Expressway, the site of the accident, is home to several major infrastructure projects and has a history of deadly accidents, earning it the nickname Death Road. Following the incidents, Thai Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul ordered the Transport Ministry to terminate 2 contracts with the firm. In other news, Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong on Thursday removed Pritam Singh from his role as leader of the opposition, saying the position had become untenable following Singh's conviction for lying to Parliament. Now, Wong said this decision was necessary to uphold the rule of law as well as the dignity and integrity of Parliament. The unprecedented move came a day after Parliament voted that Singh, who leads the Opposition Workers' Party, was unsuitable to continue in the post due to what it described as his dishonourable and unbecoming conduct stemming from the conviction. The leader of the opposition is designated by the head of government and not provided for in the Constitution or Parliament standing orders. Singh will remain a lawmaker and the leader of his party. Switching to sports now, badminton, the 2026 India Open. 3 national doubles pairs continued their impressive run by reaching the quarterfinals of the Super 750 tournament in New Delhi on Thursday. And Yuichi Shimogami to reach their 4th consecutive quarter-final. They were pushed hard in the second game, saving 4 game points before clinching a 21-9, 23-21 victory, which sets up a clash with Taiwan's Li Jiehui and Yang Po Xuan. Joining them was women's doubles pair Pearly Tan and Entina. The world number 2 pair cruised past France's Margot Lambert and Camille Pognant with a 21-7, 23-21 victory. Pearly and Tina will take on Taiwan's Xie Pei-shan and Heng En-zu for a place in the semifinals. Earlier, national mixed doubles shuttlers Goh Sun-huat and Siobhan Lai also booked a berth in the quarterfinals after defeating Thailand's 13th ranked pair Rutanapak Oktong and Jenica Sujai Prapara 17-21, 21-15, 21-6. They will face a stern test in the next round when they take on China's world number 1 pair Feng Yanjie and Huang Dongping. Concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at Chinese artist and activist Ai Weiwei, who has opened his first solo exhibition in India, featuring sculptures, installations, and mixed media works spanning his career, as well as pieces created as an homage to India. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and take care.